Okay. Axe Pizza. Let's go. This is like a really long warm up. Starts at game 1 starts here. Let's go back in time. I want to make a real polished video one day where like it's very concise, but don't have the time and resources, so we're stuck with this. Let's see. So one of the big things that you have to realize, both from the Falcon's end and from Pikachu's end, is really paying attention to the dash momentum of Pikachu and where in relation to Falcon where he jumps. So if Pikachu were to run and nair, it would be this distance. And if Wizzy just steps back a bit and back airs, then it beats out the Pikachu approach. So what Pikachu can do to counter these preemptive walls is run further forward and then nair after the hitbox from Wizzy has been doing it. So think of like a back air in this game from Wizzy, or like an aerial being a spell, where once you put it out, you have a cooldown for 2 seconds, and in that cooldown range, you know, if you play League of Legends or something, that's like your moment where you can go in and you can punish Falcon by getting into a space and forcing a really good mix-up, or you just hit them. So understanding where Pikachu can jump and nair in the distance he covers, and where Wizzy can wall, is like the most important concept of this in terms of spacing and how you win. So if Pikachu does it too early and Falcon walls, he wins. But if Pikachu gets too close and is able to get the nair out first, then it forces Falcon to either take the hit or shield. But if he shields, you get a pretty good mix-up, and that's a win for Pikachu. So pretty good stuff. So see, like this is like pretty good from Axe. He's not overcommitting, but he's walking forward, taking away space because Wizzy's walling. Wall. Sees the spot dodge, reacts. Really good. The one thing that's like really good about Pikachu is like just like Falcon, he covers horizontal space, and his moves tend to beat out Falcon's. Ooh, run up grab has been really good for Falcon in this matchup, just because it's so weird. So one thing that's been a recurring theme is that if Pikachu and Falcon are right next to each other, that 4 tilt works as a really good anti-air against Wizzy's aerials, and it pays off dividends across the entire set. So you see the nair to nair interaction with Pikachu wins. Goes for the run up grab. Nair. It just shielding is just a really rough position for Falcon to deal with in general. Like in like almost all matchups, shielding is really bad for Falcon, but unfortunately, Falcon has to shield a lot. CC, pretty good. Try to CC again, Wizzy, gentlemen's. That was a misinput. So overall, pretty interesting. Wizzy's in the corner. So that's like the interesting thing. Like Axe is playing at this mid distance, looking for a moment where Wizzy's not going to throw a hitbox, and then he jumps in, but he gets CC'd here, unfortunately. Blocks. Oh, immediate grab. So Wizzy's been getting a lot of grabs so far. That's like one thing I've been noticing, and that's probably something Sleepy told him, is that you can grab Axe in particular very often. Once again, Axe just immediately gets walked up, grabbed on. It's been paying off a lot. Narrowly misses. Oh, if Axe just... I wonder if that was a shield poke or if Axe let go of shield. So once again, that cooldown concept comes into play. Look at how he starts the back air, and then he's eventually going to have to land. And then Axe goes in immediately after the back air. So if you overwall and Pikachu's at the right distances, then you will get punished. But that walling is necessary to discourage the running nairs from Pikachu. Goes for the gamble. I'm not sure if that was a gamble or misinput. I'm going to assume that that was intentional. He's been doing that a lot more, but who knows. Good call out from Wizzy. Well, just a lot of empty grabs. So Axe is just kind of standing still, waiting for Falcon, and Wizzy's just calling out, saying like, "You're not doing anything. I'm just gonna run up grab." That's been happening a lot. Good follow-up. Axe's punishes have been like consistently really good. His aerial to aerial links have been phenomenal, and I think adding that like one little hit has given the distance to like get them off stage, and it's been huge. Fortunately, Wizzy's been just like catching Axe off guard a lot. Maybe Wizzy's warmed up, but Axe on a good day doesn't. That's pretty funny. Axe on a good day like doesn't just get run up grabbed. Like Axe will usually react with like an up air in place, and then you just don't get that grab. But for whatever reason, he's playing a little bit slow and not like really reacting as like quickly as he does. So those up airs usually counter like the running approaches from Falcon pretty well. Covers most options. I like that Wizzy's like threatening Axe here, and there were certain callouts that Wizzy made on the recovery. Like he said, like the fact that he goes out there is like really good, and I'm wondering like which characters get the horizontal momentum to even challenge Pikachu after a side B. For example, against like Luigi, after Luigi side Bs, there's so much lag that you actually have ample time to go out there and hit Luigi after the side B. And I imagine, I don't know the frame data, but the side B from Pikachu probably has a lot of lag after that you can actually go out there and punish it. Yeah, you can't up air, you can't stay above Pikachu. So these walls, so Axe is playing pretty patient, right? Waiting for the cooldown of these walls to go out, gets a grab. I feel like this is the game, if I remember correctly, where he just gets grabbed multiple times and just loses the game. Reads the roll, tech roll in place. Yeah, that's just like really hard. Wizzy gets grabbed twice, and that's like kind of the story of this stack. So look at the timing that Pikachu has. It's immediately after. So that second back air, whenever you back air, you have a lot of cooldown. So like Axe just calls him out, and then he's able to get a free approach because he's going to be able to run forward or jump first. That time, Wizzy preemptively walls. Not running into the back airs. Wizzy's doing a lot of back airs. See? Back air. And and then Axe is just kind of walking underneath. Wow, these follow-ups, like Axe is just adding like a lot of these like little hits. Up air, that's just a really hard spot for Falcon to deal with. So right here, unfortunate reverse. Falcon in the corner with no dash momentum. So Falcon with no dash and Falcon in shield. Effectively having no dash is just a really hard position for Falcon to deal with. Because you're going to have to jump, you're going to have to roll, or you're going to have to aerial, and Pikachu can pretty easily cover it. So either like Wizzy's going to have to find a way to get invincibility from the ledge, or this is just a really hard position where Pikachu can just react to a roll, or he can like up air everything else in this spot. Literally, like, there's not much Falcon can do in that spot. And then he gets grabbed. You're dead. That little extra hit, Axe usually hasn't done that in the past. Axe is playing pretty patiently. He's not just not running into the walls. So he's doing a really good job navigating through. So at least his like FD game for the most part is like working pretty well. That could have almost been a tech chase. See, like if Falcon's approaching on the ground, like unless Falcon runs up and shields specifically, like that upper literally beats almost all of Falcon's approaches. So what you'd have to do from Falcon's perspective to beat that is run up forward just close enough that Pikachu feels like he has to do that, and then you're underneath Pikachu. But for the most part, if you're hard committing all the time on Pikachu by running forward, either with like a grab or like a hitbox, like that up air is going to literally beat everything. So just like really rough. This matchup is effective. This match is particularly over. There's no way like Wizzy's gonna win enough neutral exchanges to like win this match. And look at that. Like maybe there's a DI that works. I don't really know what it is. It seems like Axe has almost all the DIs covered. So yeah, pretty much any pin down, any up smash that gets ASDI down into tech chase. Like there's so many choose your own adventure books to lead Axe is not jumping into Wizzy for the most part, and that's good because Wizzy's just throwing out back airs, and if he tries to challenge it, he's just probably going to eat a back air. Yep, and this is... I think he could have done a different route to lead into a grab. I'm not quite sure. Double side B. There's just so many things just like lead into free combos because there's no platforms. This is really hard. Anti-air forward tilt, that's like really good. I mentioned that before. Oh, he read that roll, actually. That's so unfortunate. That's like... I don't know what you do as Falcon. Like, the up tilts can lead... The up airs can lead into grab. Like, I don't know what you're doing in neutral that doesn't risk you trading into a possible chain grab. All right. All right, let's see. Mistake, but reads the roll again. Axe is really good. Most people wouldn't read that roll. Wizzy's reactions have been phenomenal. Like, just like his follow-ups and conversions are what keep him in the game. So if you look at in this sequence right here, although it doesn't lead to a neutral win, look at where Wizzy starts, and look at how much Axe is threatening just by walking forward and not jumping into him. Because if he jumps immediately, he's going to eat a back air. But if Wizzy's going to wall, like an Axe keeps walking forward, then Wizzy has to keep walking backwards. And look at the sequence. Look at how much stage Wizzy loses. And granted, it didn't lead into the exchange that worked out for him. But like, look at how threatening that was. Wizzy ends up winning that exchange. But look at how much stage Axe took leading into it, even if he didn't win that particular exchange. Wizzy confirming that. Wizzy's nuts. The way that he's been like getting his hits, it's really hard. Axe calls out that with an up smash. I don't remember seeing that. That was actually pretty impressive. Once again, we see the walls. Axe not overly committing, waiting to maneuver out. So for the most part, he's doing well, but he's not getting hits that lead into... this is actually a really good thing from Falcon. You guys should learn it. You can wall, and then immediately forward tilting. A lot of characters can do this. Aerial immediate forward tilt, or immediate ground hitbox, is a really good thing here, because if they choose to walk forward into you, they eat the hit. So add that to your resume, or your tool set, like where you immediately aerial at like a mid distance, and then you throw out a second hitbox to cover the run in. So overall, it's like looking pretty good. The good thing here, wow, that was like 85% dev. That's actually pretty significant. Is that none of these hits that Axe is getting is leading to much. And that's been like the difference maker, where we saw the FD game where he was like, these hits were like meaty hits that led into like 50 damage. Here we see even that grab there only did like 30 damage in total. This is actually a really crazy adaptation. So we mentioned earlier that we see here we mentioned that aerial into me forward tilt. Watch how Axe adapts. He reads that. Look, he stays outside of that distance and then runs in afterwards. That's actually insane. That's really good adaptations from Axe to react to that, or to react to that aerial into forward tilt and just stay outside the distance and then run in. That was actually like really good. 92% death. I guess that's like probably the story of the set. I think if Falcon gets kills consistently below 100, Falcon wins. But if that doesn't happen, Falcon loses. It's so funny how execution of a combo finisher is like super important. Doesn't kill there. Immediate stomp. He's dead. Still behind. This is as long as Wizzy doesn't give a grab or a tag chase situation, he pretty much wins, because if he chooses to trade, Axe's trades don't do much damage. That's a weakness of Pikachu. So Axe can do a ton of hits, but like they're weaker. So if you just trade hitboxes, then you end up winning in the end. So you see Axe taking more damage than he's dealing in these exchanges. As long as Wizzy doesn't give a grab, he like pretty much wins for free. Even if he gets a grab, honestly, it doesn't do that much on the stage because of the platforms. Here it's just a rough situation. Fortunately, a good reverse hitbox. But yeah, you see like when Wizzy has a lead and it's not FD, it's really hard to trade cleanly as Pikachu. That's one of the weaknesses of Pikachu, actually. You just like, if you don't give certain options to Pikachu and you just force trade after trade, you're gonna lose in that kind of attrition. Mango's competitive spirit, I'll talk about that later. I'm talking about this set right now. If we're gonna talk about a Mango set, I'll talk about Mango. Axe's counter pick. So overall, like a large part of this is that Wizzy's not giving the right openings to Axe that gives like a lot of damage. You see, it's a lot of these single hits, and Axe has to form a new game plan that not only wins neutral, but also gives him the right kind of hits off of neutral. And that's like, and he's not setting up getting opportunities, and that might be also because Wizzy's just playing well. So Axe is kind of reaching here, like this Nair when Wizzy's been like kind of running away with these walls. Wizzy catches him there. That's what Wizzy catches Leffen a lot with, is like, if you imagine Leffen doing the short hop Nair as Fox, it's a similar punish that Wizzy's doing to Axe too. So this is like where Axe is getting desperate, and this is where I think like the desperation comes in. There's a full screen approach, and Wizzy just reacts to it. So the last two like kind of like wide full length approaches have been punished. So you see a little bit of these Hail Marys starting to come out, where it's like Axe is probably thinking like, I hope you run into this, or maybe there's not much thought, but he's approaching from these larger distances and hoping that something works. It's always a risk when like your opponent's shown to just wall. Once again, here he approaches from like near full distance and then eats a back air for it, but he's trying to hope to add some Unga Bunga and like hopes that something can work. Maybe he just wants to increase the pace of the game and see if Wizzy's up to the task. Because you can argue that to a certain extent, like Wizzy or Axe is playing a little bit too slow and putting Wizzy at a comfortable space, where now he's just like saying, like, rather than waiting, I'm just going to go in as fast as I can. So that's something Axe has mentioned in an interview, that if he feels like he's playing behind, he'll just tell himself to play faster, and that's what's looking like it's happening. That's what on the onset is. What I think is happening right now is that he played a very slow tempo match on Dreamland, and now he's just like, I gotta run out my opponent, I gotta be quicker, and that's, I think, his mindset this match. But now Wizzy's just kind of eating those approaches alive. So Axe trying to play faster in this particular game hasn't been working out. You see Axe is playing a lot more aggressive, but he's just getting beat over and over again. So like when you have aggression, you can't be playing aggressively into the options that your opponent's covering, or else you're just gonna eat things over and over again. And that's literally what I call the Mango, where you play aggressive, but your opponent knows that you're playing aggressive, so they throw hitboxes in the exact spots, like, and you just like eat hit after hit. That's kind of what happened to Axe so far in this like game. So now he's getting hit a lot, so he's like, okay, like, I gotta start dash dancing, I gotta start reacting more. So we're seeing a lot more shields, he's taking a lot more stage. That Nair was pretty good. Ooh. Good discipline from Axe to not jump here. Gets a free punish on that back air. Ooh, and that's a pretty good punish. How does he lose this? Almost gets a Gimp, I remember that. Oh... So two missed punishes actually are like pretty disastrous. The fact that he got 11% off of two big Wizzy flubs really hurts. That could have been like easily like 60-70 damage and would have put him in a good spot that like any kind of trade could have thrown Axe off stage, or Wizzy off stage. Like that up smash could have like potentially set up a better position if he was at like 90. But overall, we're seeing a faster pace from Axe. Look at how aggressive he's playing, whereas last game we saw him do a lot of run-up shields. And it's looking like, for the most part, it's doing all right, but he's just been mis-executing and not punishing as hard as he can on Wizzy's flubs. but he's really speeding up the pace of the game, and you're seeing him more aggressively encroach on Falcon's space as opposed to just like running up and shielding and waiting for the walls to come out. But that's the end of set 1. So I just want to point out here that it was a lot of run up shield, run up shield, run up shield, and now we're seeing like Axe is trying to like overshoot more. He's, even if he's getting hit here and there, he's trying to force Falcon into very uncomfortable spots where unless he's constantly throwing out hitboxes to counter, like he's eventually going to have to put up a shield, and then Axe is going to try to vortex him into something. So we're going to go into this game. This game was pretty close if I remember, so we're going into set 2. So look at how much faster Axe is engaging as opposed to that Dreamland game in the last set. Like, he's always going to be in a space, forcing Wizzy to make bad decisions, and we're seeing that really come into play so far here. Wizzy, of course, punishing really well. Now Axe is in the corner, so he's going to have to fight for space. But look at how much he's running forward. Unfortunately, he gets called out twice. Really good reads from Wizzy, actually. Good punishes to nail Axe's aggression. And he loses the first stock for that. But overall, we're seeing Axe generally just being a lot more aggressive. It's costing him so much right now. Now he's slowing the pace down. He's not just running in, running up, shielding the mix-up. Look at how much he's running in, gets punished again. So overall, it's like pretty good. Wizzy's anti-approach game has been incredible. But good read. It keeps Pikachu in the game. Oh, he gets underneath Axe. Underneath Wizzrobe. It's just like, I think in prior sets, like, or in prior engages, like, once Axe finds a position, he'd kind of back off. But look at how, like, aggressively he's positioning himself. Not giving time for Wizzy to reset at all. Ooh, that's just a really good punish, actually. So getting those good hits that lead to strong punishes or favorable positions. Once again, goes underneath Axe. We're seeing a lot more tail action. A lot more tail up air. A lot more up air. This is the vortex. So this is the mix-up. You nair past them, and they're forced to shield. And the reason why you shield here is because if you try to jump, or you go actionable, or you throw a hitbox, the common Yomi one is from Axe is he up airs, and if you jump and Axe up airs, you will get hit and get comboed. So most players now, when Axe gets behind your shield, they just hold shield, and this is the Yomi layer 2, I guess, where he just goes for the grab as opposed to up air. Doesn't get a punish, very fortunately for Wizzrobe. But look at how this whole like 2 stocks, it's been really hard for Wizzy to reset. Now he gets the reset position. Ooh, and also another thing here that's important to realize, this is a really good adaptation. So Wizzy's been throwing these short hop aerials. Axe is throwing full hops now. And that gets by, and you get behind. This is very common to do. This is where full hopping is actually very important in a lot of matchups, and a lot of people don't do this enough. Is that if Wizzy walls out with these short hop aerials, Axe is fast enough to full hop and get behind. And this puts Falcon in a really terrible spot if Axe calls out that short hop wall. So this is the first time we're kind of seeing it happen. Overall, good job protecting himself and not getting killed. Playing patiently when the walls are up, looking for that opening. That was just really... Identifying windows is like really here was really good. So he stuffs it, trade, but now Wizzy has a reset, so Pikachu has to pick his spot, or else like if he approaches carelessly, then he's just gonna trade. So he's looking for that window where Wizzy will commit to an aerial, and if Axe is close enough, then he can force a good exchange. So there you go. The exchange was the failed gentleman. Wizzy's in lag and can't really do much there. I didn't know that actually punished until this set, the down throw run up air, but I guess it does. That's something I learned new. I don't know Falcon that well. Ooh, good SDI. Tries to go for another down air, gets punished. Run up grab. So, yeah, just good patience. Axe identifying the spots where he can go in has been so good. Old Axe would have just like nared here and get caught. Now Falcon's in an awkward spot. You can either roll or shield. Jumping is probably generally not good. Axe reads the roll and actually covers options pretty well. So pretty good. That was kind of awkward. I think he didn't want that turnaround. Just not giving Wizzy too much room. Now Wizzy has the reset. What does he do? That's a really good down tilt, by the way. Yeah, that's what happens when you nair at the wrong time and he has the wall ready. You have to be very careful. Wizzy's been doing a really good job walling. Just unfortunately, no strong hit until that point. If Wizzy was able to get like a strong knee earlier, this would probably be Wizzy's lead. Good trade. Yeah. Percentage does matter in this matchup a lot, and that's actually insane. Like, this whole sequence, just off of a trade. Look at that punish. That's insane. That's insane. Okay, let's watch this game. Game 2. So, we talked about in the beginning of the video where Axe is beginning to run. He's catching something really important here, and I want to point it out. So, in these spots, I mentioned that you can nair here, but one of the big things that I noticed is that Axe will Axe running forward and then nairing slightly later will catch the aerial here, and it also gets him the overshoot that he needs, and he's not going to get walled out by aerials here because he's already deep into Falcon's like comfort space. So running forward here and then doing his aerial, even though it's so slight, is like a huge difference maker in the approach angles you get. Look at how much like he's running in before he's coming in the aerial, and then he's going deep, as opposed to approaching with a full distance nair and aiming where they currently are. He's doing the run forward, go deep into Falcon space, and then nairing or aerialing. Good roll by Falcon, but yeah, catches. There's not much. Wizzy would have to go onto the stage. Good recognition from Axe to realize that he's probably fading back. We go back to the bear wall, but Axe's low run up forwards has been really good. It's almost like a pseudo overshoot by starting slightly later. And by running forward, you slightly delay the timing, so the back air hitbox is going to be very unlikely to be active anymore. Wow, that spacing's so good. Wizzy finally calls it out and overshoots. He hasn't really been overshooting. Gotta throw that in once in a while. Down throw knee, Dreamland, unfortunate for Wizzy. Tries to go for a punish, but now in an awkward spot, now in the corner. So, one thing that's different between Leffen and Wizzy against Wizzy, or Leffen and Axe between Wizzy. Wizzy likes to call out certain things preemptively. In this case, it's thinking that Pikachu's going to nair. So this is like what Leffen will lose to a lot against Wizzy, is that at this distance, like Leffen would nair right, jump nair and land here. But Wizzy is really good at hard countering that with Stomp. And watch how like Axe waits and doesn't take the bait there. Good anti-air forward tilt. That's like the third time I've seen that this set. Okay, so one thing to point out, we're wondering what the counters are. So Wizzy has caught on that Axe is like just running forward, and remember what we told you, that like doing aerial into instant tilt is like, or even jab is a good way to counter like running approaches. He does that here to counter Axe running in. I would have liked to see that a little bit more from Wizzy's end when Axe was in the mode of I'm just going to stay low to the ground. Up air is so scary. Getting hit by up air is so scary as Falcon, or as any fast bowler. Dang, Wizzy's reactions off of a tech chase is so good. I feel like he rarely misses like hard hit tech chase into grab. seems to get it almost every time. It's keeping this like really close. Axe is still trying to run through the walls. It's always, even if Wizzy gets that like hit, sometimes it's still like really uncomfortable. Okay, so this is where like the issue comes up occasionally. Pikachu's invulnerability window is very tight, so if you narrowly miss this on Pikachu, which is hard to hit because the vulnerability frames are a lot less for Pikachu, this is what ends up happening. And that ended up costing him that stock there, actually. Just the fact that Pikachu's slightly harder to hit off of a tech roll. Once again, we see the back air wall. Axe is able to beat it. So this is like the cheese. This is the Wizzy cheese. It's assuming that you're going to nair it into him, and then he spaces it in a way that you will get hit by Stomp. Axe just waits it out. Just really good awareness to not take the bait there. That's one thing, that's like one of Wizzy's kind of cheesy kind of defensive maneuvers. Not pressing in too hard. Oh, it just narrowly misses 2 grabs. Yeah, so you see that, like, that's what he's looking for. He's assuming that if you nair approach in a certain way, that you're going to eat that stomp. So that's like a very good anti-approach that I want to see more characters do. Axe is, people say like Axe is very aggressive and he just runs in, but like the timings are just so good. And the way he's able to like weave in and out, like weaving between those back airs is like not the easiest thing. And sometimes he loses, but the fact that he's able to like consistently beat Wizzy's walls is like really, it's not easy. Play Pikachu and try to do it, it's really hard. When he calls out the overshoot. Gets the anti-air. Yeah, Wizzy's just not, I mean, Wizzy's just not getting anything, and he's getting grabs off of tech chases, and I just want to really point out something here. Those back airs are good walls, but if you notice, like right now, those back airs are single hit neutral game punishes, where he's very rarely going to get extra punish, I mean extra damage. It's just a back air, and whenever Axe gets a hit, it seems to be adding up to more, and I think that's like a large difference maker right now. Is that whenever Axe wins neutral, it's been leading to more, and Axe more often than not is winning neutral. That's the Wizzy. Decent damage, but doesn't follow up more there. I think he could have gone a little bit more. Yeah, just not really giving anything to Wizzy. Wizzy's playing this as if it's like Hungry Box or something, or like Puff. Good follow-ups, puts Axe in a rough spot. That should be neat. Maybe it isn't. Oh, that's, yeah, momentum. Alright, can Wizzy get down? More walls. Good trade. This is where the backer's okay, because you set like kind of an edge guard, and then you get this. Oh, it misses the down throw up air. Wouldn't have killed. Wizzy needs to get this kill. There also haven't been low percentage kills. That's also the other big issue for Wizzy right now. Is that like in the first set, especially on Dreamland last time, we saw like a 78% death and like a 90% death. Pikachu's at 149 here. The only thing that Wizzy has been getting is just backer. Nothing really else. The backer kills there, but huge difference maker about like Pikachu living to 150 is going to make Falcon's life really hard because now he's going to have to win neutral over and over again. Oh, once again. So this is the Wizzy cheese, and this is why you have to be careful if you're like an aggressive Fox or even Pikachu. Look at how he decides not to approach and he baits that. That's like a Wizzy janky anti-defense or defensive thing that he does when he calls out an air. Yeah, just so much damage. Now he's off stage. Axe could potentially kill. Okay, just like nothing. I think overall, it's safe to say that Axe has shut down the wall. Where Wizzy's just running up, and like in every kind of exchange, he's walking up and doing the dance with Pikachu, and then just fading back and running away back here. And Axe is patient enough to know how to weave through that. So Wizzy's game plan, like Axe is like pretty much figured out at this point. So he needs another game plan. Okay, that's a pretty meaty combo. It's like 35%, which is pretty meaningful. Let to attack chase knee. It's like 50%. Still more. So that's like the first good punish we've seen in a really long time. But overall, it's gonna be a long, drawn out fight. Oh, and he misses the punish. Still gets the knee or gets the grab, but doesn't kill. And then you're pretty much gonna reset the situation. Ooh, he messes up again. Wizzy does mess up from time to time. Those two mess ups let Axe live. He should be dead by now. Now he is. So Falcon ended up getting taxed like 4%. This is scary. Axe messes up the punish there. I think the tournament nerves are starting to come. They're very uncharacteristic mistakes from both of them. Oh man, look at that. That's so cruel. How does Falcon land? We see that dare approach. First time it leads to meaningful damage. This is pretty big. 45. Good slide off from Wizzy. They both nair at the same time. Okay. Oh, that was really huge. Doesn't kill. I think that kills at like 138 or like 140-ish, I'd like to say. So overall, Wizzy is trading pretty well. Good tech. Wizzy will always get that any day of the week. Oh, wow. Axe in the lead. So pretty much it's just like less opportunities, and then Wizzy is losing, and Axe is beating out these wall out attempts. He's playing this very patiently. And he's just like weaving in and out. It's like when you play like old school Marth that throws out a lot of nairs and like four airs. Like there are windows of opportunity when like they throw out the hitbox that if you have the right momentum into them, like after they throw out the hitbox, you can hit them. But it's really hard to do consistently if you're trying to contest directly in between the attacks. Ooh, this is a really good punish. I want to watch that all over again. That's actually really impressive. So what ended up happening here? He takes a knee. It's like almost a tie game. Gets a follow up here. Gets a pretty good punish. Misses that air exchange. Messes up there. I think that was like a... Yeah. And then DI's in. That was actually a really good punish by Wizzy. Yeah. So like that's the issue I think I have with like Falcon Pikachu is that Wizzy only wins these matches when he consistently gets like Pikachu death really early. And like last time when they played Dreamland in the first set, he killed Axe at below 100 twice. But in these games, it seems very rare that that happens. I don't know how reliable it is either. So right now we see the walls out again. Look at how close Axe is playing to like the aerials, just trying to navigate his way inside and out. It's like air footsies or like aerial footsies. Unfortunately, now like Pikachu's at the percent where only like raw knee really kind of kills. But I guess nair knee worked there. Speak of the devil. Good follow up. But it's just like you worked so hard, you won like all these exchanges, and you got a punish that's like not going to be consistently available to you, and like one or two grabs, and now the game is like even. So this is like the mix up with that happens. So you see here, like jumping out a shield against a cross up nair, like rarely ever leads into anything good. You immediately just get up aired. That's why most people hold shield on Pikachu when they cross up nair. It's just really hard to fight against because up air immediately comes out and it's like so good. Pikachu shield probably got poked there. Pivot up smash. Or like turn around up smash. So now the game's tied, and like Wizzy got a pretty good punish, but off of raw nair into knee, I just question how often that it comes up where that like you actually get it. Fortunately gets off the stage. Ooh, the run up forward slightly. So here, old Axe would have just naired directly. New Axe would runs forward now, and then gets in a little bit more of that distance. Very important. They both hold shield. There's like a meta behind hold. When both players are holding shield for a really long time next to each other, there's like a meta thing going on. All right, let's see if he gets a punish off of this hitbox. I don't know if Wizzy messed up. I assume I don't know the frame data or like the follow ups directly. Up air. Pikachu still lives. That's like the most important thing. Wizzy's still gonna have to get like a hard hit, which is not the easiest thing to do. Or Axe gets a grab and the game is like in Axe's favor. 136. A percentage is very important. Yeah, and just a very unfortunate being late. He was just ever so slightly late, and then look at what happens. This is just like how unforgiving it could be from Falcons. Look at that. All because he was slightly late on a tech chase, assuming that there was I think he thought there was gonna be like a get up attack. Didn't react to the fact that there was no get up attack, and it ends up just like dying. That's rough. Now Axe is in the lead. Like, you work so hard. Alright, so we're gonna have back air wall versus Nair approaches again. And once again, that cheeky dare is coming out from Wizzy. Just that Axe has the discipline not to engage with it. And the risk here is that if that dare doesn't hit, you're in a really rough spot. Axe doesn't really get the punish, but that could have been a grab, and that stock could be over from. Like, yeah, this is like the other part. It's just like executing your punishes if you're just slightly off. Look at what happens here. Now you get grabbed. This all came from a. This is why it's so hard. Like, you have to execute like near perfect, not only in neutral but also in punishes where you slightly mess up and now you get grabbed. And that's like 8 neutral exchange back airs from Wizzy to get to that point. Now Wizzy can't really reset that well. Oh, that could have been scary for Pikachu. You can't just Wizzy's like insane in this spot. Like, you can't ever tech chase him in this spot. He's always going to throw a side B, and if you're slightly late, you're always going to eat the side B. Like, if you go up to him and Pikachu's a slow character, you just never grab him in the spot if you know you're going to be late, because he will always do that. Does that to Laughing a lot too. You can run up shield though. That might be the next meta play on the anti-Wizzy technology. It's really rough. You're off stage. Thunder Jolt kills you. Wizzy, of course, will tech it. It's Wizzy. Oh, that was a really good call out. Didn't really work out down air. It's actually pretty close. Down throw up air doesn't kill there. Oh man, that's just like so rough. If Wizzy plays like pretty much perfectly and doesn't get hit by many things that could lead to tech chases, up air, extended up air chains, or regrabs, this is like really hard. Yeah. How did that all start? Literally just started off like Axe can kind of literally fish for like an up air there. The up air is so disjointed, and if it trades a certain way, then you get that, and then you get a tech chase. There's so many ways. It's similar to like Ice Climbers, even like dash attack works on spaces on the stage. Nah, yeah, that's over. So I think overall, like the big difference between set one and set two, if we're ever to like kind of compare the differences, Axe died a lot less at less than 100, especially if you look at some of those matches. Wizzy did a good job, grabbing the ledge before Axe and recovering. You saw like Axe like 3 times, I think, in the first set, try to go up beyond the ledge, and Wizzy like grabs it, and Axe just dies like below 100. We saw less of that. We saw Axe was really good at just staying outside of bear range, and granted, like he was getting hit a fair bit. Like none of the bears really led to substantial damage, and more often than not, Axe was like winning a lot of those exchanges that led into more damage. And then, to be honest, the first set, even though it was 3-1 in Wizzy's favor, those could have easily went in Axe's favor too. So the matches were close, but it's hard for me to see like this sustainably going in Wizzy's favor, just because he has to have a lot of things go right for him, which I'm not sure like are consistent. So, for example, getting setups that lead into less than 100% kills, finding confirms that lead into knees at like less than 100, and Wizzy's gonna have to really like play well to win neutral enough times that he's not dying and he can kill Pikachu fast. So excited stuff for Axe, but I'm trying to think of how Wizzy's game plan works. Maybe if Axe like messes up a few things, I think Wizzy has a lot of the right toolbox things to punish Axe's options. It just cycling through and picking at the right options is going to be something I want to see. And then finding out ways not just only to back air, but also throwing in some nairs that if Wizzy nairs in certain spots where he got a back air, like if he turns around and nairs instead of doing the back air, maybe that leads into set 2-hit nair into an up air or into a knee, rather than just a 1-hit back air that doesn't lead into anything. I think there's ways that he can turn a neutral exchange into something that leads into multiple hits. I, in fact, think that Johnny a few times used turnaround, like runaway turnaround nair to counter Axe's approaches in some sets, and that led into confirms into really strong combos. So, pretty good set. Pretty impressive from Wizzy. I think his tech chasing also was pretty good, and his follow-ups were pretty good. I think it's like pretty, like, it's not fully optimized, but it's like solid all around, and the reactions and the execution were pretty solid. There were a few moments where he didn't follow up and he was slightly off and he got killed for it, and that's one of the aspects of the Falcons end of things that make it really hard. So that's my thoughts on the matchup. Analyze the pop off.
He's done it!
A Pikachu has won a major smash for Axe. He does it!
Years and years of being on the verge.
He did it!
Oh, I think the analysis is that he looked like this, and it was so sad. It was a good call by Vish to mention this reference, because that's like also what I thought of immediately when I saw this.
He is now done it. And he can't even process.
Coached him all weekend.
Oh, I'm so proud of that.
God.
This is crazy.
How many years has Axe been playing? This
Plus,
wanted this for so
Oh,
yeah. I feel with emotion as well.
What does it mean for AZ? He's wanted this for so
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my God.
This is so much better. And he's finally
enough, and you're that insane. You can.
My
God.
God.
Axe Pizza, that's his. And he
After a
did it.
reset.
Is this a pop off though? I feel like I don't know if I can call that a pop off. I think it was a celebratory moment. I don't really see a pop off here unless it comes later.
Obviously Wizzy.
Wizzy.
Who else did he beat in quarters?
Mango. Champion. Done it. Man.
Go Axe. Oh.
Oh, the entire. AZ. Axe.
Yeah, I don't think he popped off.
Someone grab.
Axe.
AZ.
Wait, why is it showing me an ad?
New Pronamel Repair.
Recruit anyone in the world. Watch the world premiere trailer now on YouTube.
Oh my God.
Such a wholesome person. Here we go.
Throw.
This is why.
What's he gonna get here? Up smash. Thunder. 85. He's on stage.
Okay, that's it. Okay, got it.
Is your 85. He's on stage.
That's pretty good. I think it's a pretty good pop off.
Is your Smash Summit 8 champion.
Axe did it.
He's done. pure grinding, pure. Sure.
Trying to get
A little disclaimer.
Pushing the Yoshi meta.
Melee is.
Yeah, Melee's pretty good. Overall, pretty interesting set. Whoever subs gets the next request, I guess. He was Falcon. I killed Blur. Or should I just play Tetris? I can play Tetris. Did we play Tetris? I actually ate Blur. We had Blur on earlier today. Eat the rich. Well, in that case, I'm actually probably gonna call it a night. Oh, where's